The classified paper 6 for IGCSE chemistry topic metal. The question is about we have three different metals are there. We have cobalt, manganese, and nickel are the metal. They react with dilute hydrochloric acid to form a hydrogen gas. We have to plan an investigation to find the order of reactivity of these metals. This experiment can be done in different ways. We can either measure a rate at which they form hydrogen gas. We can also record a time taken for the mass to change, like measuring a rate. Or we can also make one salt solution and add the other two metal. If it displaces, it will be more reactive. If it does not, then it will be less reactive. So you are provided with a sample of each metal, a dilute hydrochloric acid. Common lab apparatus is also available. You have to plan. Your plan must make it clear how you your investigation will be fair test and how you'll use your result to place the metal in order of the reactivity. We don't have to say which is more, which is left, but just we have to identify, like we have to plan an experiment how it can be done. So first, what we will do for the fair comparison, if we want a fair comparison, we want this experiment to have a fair comparison. What are the parameters that must be constant?
The length of the ribbon of metals.
Surface area, that is one thing. What else?
Volume of hydrochloric acid.
Volume of hydrochloric acid is one. What else?
Concentration of hydrochloric acid.
Concentration of hydrochloric acid, temperature of the acid as well. That's like same mole of HCl or concentration. These are the parameters which should be kept constant. So how we plan this experiment? We will fill the conical flask with whenever you are writing an experiment, you should always mention the name of apparatus that you are using. So we'll fill the conical flask with HCl, hydrochloric acid. In exam, like when you're planning this experiment, don't write like the formulas. You should write the name full. And better mention the amounts as well, like fill the conical flask, say with 25 cm cube HCl. But how we can fill it, like which apparatus is used can be used to measure this 25 cm cube?
Pipette.
So we can use a pipette. I can also use a measuring cylinder, but it won't be accurate, but it will transfer it quickly. So fill the conical flask with 25 cm cube of hydrochloric acid. Then we'll add metal, a known mass, and connect the gas syringe. Which metal example we are adding? Say we have the first one is a cobalt, so we are adding a cobalt first. We are connected gas syringe by delivery tube. So add known mass of a metal connected to a gas syringe by the delivery tube. Then what we will do, we will start the timer and record the volume of hydrogen or volume of gas collected in, say, 3 minutes or 2 minutes, you can say. Any mass is acceptable here because it does not matter like you can mention 2 grams, 1 gram, 0.5 gram. Normally in grams it should be, and it's a very small part, like 0.2 gram. 20 grams is like fine, it's good. 2 gram, 3 gram, it's also good. So start that time and record the volume of a gas collected in 3 minutes. And then what we will do, we'll repeat the experiment with other metals, like such as we have a manganese and nickel. Then for a fair comparison, if you want to do this investigation, a fair test, as you already mentioned in the beginning, that we should use same concentration of acid, same volume of the acid, or we should use surface area should be same temperature of the acid. The temperature of the acid should also be same. You can mention, you can mention repeat the experiment with other metal, or you can mention repeat the experiment with the same metal and then do the same procedure with other metal to take a mean volume or to take an average mean rate. Then how we can find the rate? So find the rate by using a formula, change in the volume of gas divided by the time period. And you can compare the rates. The one which is faster, like will have a higher rate, or more reactive, gives higher rate. This is one way. Or if you want to compare, you can plot a graph between the volume. Can we mention always add excess of metal? You can mention that as well. But because we want to do this experiment to work out the initial rate, using an initial rate, we can work out which is more reactive. So even if it react completely or does not react completely, that won't make much difference. So we can plot a graph between the volume of the gas and time and compare the slopes which represent the rate. The steeper one shows faster rate and more reactive metal. So this is how it can be done. So we can sketch a graph here if you want to, just to elaborate, but don't label because you don't know which is more reactive, which is less reactive. You just label with 3 different metals and just compare their slopes in 3 minutes. The one which is steeper means it's faster. Is it clear, this experiment, how it can be done, how we can find the rate of the chemical reaction?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in the first test, can I include it inside the experiment? Like when I say fill the conical flask with the same temperature of hydrochloric acid for
Yes.
all the conical
Yeah,
flasks?
that's right. You can mention, it's not like you write them separately. Even you can mention in your answer when you're mentioning like fill the conical flask with 25 cm cube of hydrochloric acid at say 30 degree or 25 degrees, any specific temperature is mentioned, and then you mention repeat with the same condition, so it's fine.